been a while since we've talked about the Raiders. It was a good win at Houston. Yeah, I didn't want to make a video then, but I definitely have to make a video now. So before we get started, be sure to hit the subscribe button. Would really appreciate that. Push the like button so we can get this channel moving. There will be more Raider coverage. It's gonna be here and there. It's not gonna be like an every week thing, but you will get my thoughts on the season and overall this team. And there's a lot to discuss about this 2022 team that I think we all agree after acquiring Devante Adams, having a new coach in. I wasn't the biggest fan of Josh when he came in, but of course I wanted to give him a chance. You have our defensive coordinator coming in from the Giants. I was still was it Patrick Graham? I was still a little iffy about him to see how he would do with his defense. But the signings of Chandler Jones, Devante, and then having this high-powered offense, or not necessarily high-powered, but a good offense from last year coming into this year, especially with Hunter Renfrow having a Pro Bowl year last year. And then, of course, Darren Waller, one of the best tight ends in the game. But we knew he had some injury he was prone to injuries a lot, and especially in this starting this late in his career. And it didn't help that we thought he was going to play in this game. We thought Darren Waller was going to play in this game, and would have made a difference? I don't think so. It would have helped with us scoring at least some points, I think. But Darren Waller sitting out again. I believe it's a hamstring still. I expect him to be ready for Jacksonville next weekend. I expect him to play next weekend. But, even when he was in the lineup, you would think this offense would be clicking, but it's just not clicking, even with him in the lineup. So what's the talk about here, Dan? What's going on? Why is the Raider fan base so pissed after this loss? Because we got shut out 24-0 with it seems like the Raiders always make these we always play to competition's level, even if it's high, even if it's low. You got to remember, we almost beat Kansas City this year. We've lost very close games, but when it comes to playing against the Texans, we're falling behind, or we're not destroying them like we should. Now the Texans have a good run game with Damian Pierce, but we made what was his name, David Mills. We made Mills look like a freaking Pro Bowl quarterback last weekend, and same goes here. We play against Andy Dalton. Now, no disrespect to Andy Dalton, but yeah, a little bit of disrespect to Andy Dalton. He did have like a fantasy football kind of weekend last weekend. But this is a guy our defense should be shutting down these quarterbacks like an Andy Dalton. If we could make Patrick Mahomes really nervous in that, like for that first half, we should make Andy Dalton nervous throughout the whole game. But the Raiders defense seems to let Raider Nation down so much. It is not all on them. It has to be thrown to the offense, especially today with the offense. This is one of the worst games I've seen the Raiders play throughout watching them on all my life. This is as bad as last year when we played against the Bears. And watching that game against the Bears, they were so flat, unenthusiastic. They didn't look like they were ready to play. And that was like towards the time where the John Gruden emails were going on. So that could have played a big part on that horrific game they had with the Bears last year. You could even say the first half of the Chargers last year in that first game. But there is no excuse in this one. You had so much time, especially after the bye week, to really prepare yourself. Josh McDaniels is one of the worst hires we could ever do. This guy just cannot cut it as a head coach. I continue to see bizarre decisions, bizarre play calling throughout every single game. So bringing Josh McDaniels in, even though Bisaccia, uh, sorry if I butchered your name, Bisaccia, the players really rallied towards him, especially last year with everything that went on, and they played hard for him. This Raider team playing for Josh McDaniels, they don't look like they want to play for him whatsoever. And we've heard things about Josh McDaniels when he was head coach of the Broncos back in the day. We've heard past players talk about his approach to the games, to mentality, to the hard-nosed kind of Patriot way, bringing into the Broncos and now the Raider organization, and how it just doesn't work. He pushes too hard. He asks us to. He's not a players type coach. He is my way or the highway. You could argue that John Gruden was like that last year, and then his tenure with the Raiders, the second tenure with the Raiders. But you did see a lot of great progression with the Raiders under John Gruden. You saw Waller really come out as a star, Hunter Renfrow. Some of the picks that Gruden and Mayock did proved to be really, really good ass picks. I mean, Nate Hobbs is one of the best Raiders I've seen in such a while. He's the real deal, and unfortunately, he got injured. But with Josh McDaniels in this hire, you just saw today, you absolutely saw it today with the team. Even when they were down in the first quarter, they were down 7 points. Second quarter, they were down 10 points. You just saw the team kind of just really deflate. You just saw them, just the wind just come out of this team because they couldn't move the ball. Penalties were killing us. And Josh McDaniels' idea on a 3rd and 1 to not give the ball to the guy who the offense should be running through all the time. We saw that at the other end with Alvin Kamara, who was just torching us. Yet that game plan that the Saints did, doing perfection over there and giving it to the Kamara the ball as much as they could, and then us on the other side not giving the ball to Josh Jacobs. Like, I think he had 10 carries. I think this boy had 10 carries for 43 yards. How do you establish the run, and how do you stop trying to run the ball with just giving Josh 10 carries? Unbelievable. This is the man who, for 3 straight weeks, 2 weeks, like, he has been balling. He is up there. I think he was the number 1 kind of like running back in the ranking wise, or he was top 5 for sure. I believe he was top 5. But man, this dude has been balling. And the first play when they had Carr, and or was it the second play? They had Carr throwing right from the beginning. They wanted Carr to establish the passing game. I don't know if it's Josh McDaniels' ego that's saying, okay, that's cool, Josh Jacobs, we have him if we do need to run the ball, but I want to showcase my coaching prowess, and I want to showcase how dangerous the Raiders offense could be with the passing game. He starts throwing the ball. He has Carr throwing the ball right from the get-go. They don't establish the run. And when Josh Jacobs does get a couple of these runs, he actually gets very good positive yards. Penalties killed it, yes. The offensive line pass protecting was pretty garbage this time around. I think they've been doing okay. Of course, we could be better. We could be absolutely going on the trade line, getting some help we need. We should have got this help we needed right from the get-go after the preseason, but Josh McDaniels and the organization just seemed like they were fine with what they had. And obviously, us, the Raider fans, we saw that, no, there's a need for a defensive tackle. There's a need for some more linebacker core. There's an absolute need for a right tackle. There's a need for offensive linemen. Yet they didn't do that, and they still have not really done that. The offensive line has gotten better, but today was such a big step back. But I don't necessarily blame that for the offensive line. I blame that on Josh McDaniels for his game plan going into this game. Having Carr throw, Carr was 15 to 26. The numbers are not going to tell you, Carr threw a lot, because the offense wasn't on the field a lot. That's the difference. But when you saw from the beginning and them not really establishing a run at all, it was clear that Josh wanted to throw the ball more than he wanted to run it, which was absolutely such a huge mistake. Now, going back to that 3rd-and-1 play, instead of giving it to your bell cow, Josh Jacobs, and Jacobs picking up that first down, and Jacobs, been fighting hard all freaking year. What do they do? What do they do? Saw it a mile away. It was like a goddamn apocalyptic meteor coming down to hit the earth, and you're just standing there getting ready to watch the carnage happen. Devante Adams comes, Carr, instead of giving it to their bell cow, Josh Jacobs, gives it to Devante Adams with this like little jet sweep and read all the way. Play blew up. Devante Adams loss of yards, don't get the first down. It was madness, man. It was freaking madness. It was horrible. That play alone really sank the Raiders, I think, offense. Because it's what are we doing, right? It's Aaron Rodgers going, what are we doing out here? And that's as Raider fans, and I'm sure a lot of the Raider players are saying to themselves, especially Devontae Adams, what are we doing? Why are we giving it to Devontae Adams? If you're going to run that play, why are we giving it to him? Devontae Adams, one of the best wide receivers in the game. But if you're going to give anybody that play, you're going to give it to Hunter Renfrow because he's a smaller guy. He's able to kind of maneuver his way and dodge tackles to get that first down. But it was a horrible play. You saw that play just absolutely get destroyed. Once again, play calling, coaching decision to do that. And then there was one particular play where it was 4th and something. I believe it was 4th and 2 and 4th or something. And we're going to punt the ball. And what does Josh McDaniels do? He fake punts it. I believe it was like 4th and 2. He fake punts it, and it's not a fake pass punt, a fake punt for a pass. It's a run play. It's a run play to the right, and it's just a god-awful play. It gets destroyed. If you're going to go for it, stop being cheeky. Stop with these stupid trick plays, Josh, and just throw the damn ball. Hit probably Foster Moreau, because Foster Moreau was the backup tight end of Darren Waller. And Foster Moreau he's a reliable tight end. He will drop some of these passes that are absolutely needed. But if you're gonna just stop trying to fool the defense and just try to do these stupid Madden plays, Josh. That's not gonna help our team. And that led to, I believe, 3 points, and that led to 10-0. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if the Saints got 3, got 7, got 6, missed a actually. It didn't matter because we didn't score one single point in this game. So Josh McDaniels absolutely needs to be fired. He needs to be fired. We don't really know too much about his contract details. I'm sure Mark paid him a lot of money because Mark believed that, the Belichick way. That is the problem with a lot of these owners and his organizations believing that a lot of these this tree branch of Belichick, this godlike coach and his pupils, that his pupils are going to ascend and be that next Belichick or be that next coach that's going to lead the team to a Super Bowl. I would rather have a tree branch of Andy Reid's organization, our Andy Reid's coaching staff. I'd rather have that. Or I'd rather have it's kind of hard saying a college coach, but Josh McDaniels is not cutting it, man. I mean, I wanted Harbaugh. Who's out there? Who are we screaming for? We're screaming for Sean Payne. And who we just play the Saints. Is Sean Payne going to come fix the problem? Probably not. But it would have been a lot better than what we're getting right now. It would have been so much better coached than what Josh McDaniels is doing. He is just not a head coach. He is not proving he should ever be a head coach ever again. This is too much talent on the field. This is too much money on the field to say that, to have this record, to not have this hope and this I don't even know what to call it, man. Just to have this hype towards it before the season and just to be already over. The season's over, guys. The season's over. Like I don't I hate saying that because of how much we could still make a run with a lot of these games that we have. We have Jacksonville, that should be a win, but is it though? Is it a win? Because the Raiders are still the Raiders. The Raiders still do stupid stuff, even with Josh McDaniels there, and even if he wasn't there, they do stupid stuff. Goal lines, they get penalties. They don't run the ball in. They throw it. Their red zone's trash. Play calling's trash. The defense has been so bad. The only one who has been earning his extension, his money that we should never, ever give away because of how good he is and how loyal he is, and I want him to retire as a Raider, is Max Crosby. Did Max Crosby have any sacks today? No. Did Chandler Jones have any sacks today? No. But what Max Crosby did is this dude has a motor. You could see, you saw, there was one play, Alvin Kamara was all the way at the other end and he was on this end. And Alvin Kamara was running this this kind of sweep to the left. And Max Crosby goes from here to right here and just absolutely obliterates Kamara. Max Crosby is such a beast. Even though his stats are not saying he's getting a lot of sacks that we pay him for, we want him to get sacks. But the fact that this dude is playing hard and is showing on tape, stopping the run, at least getting some pressure, other than Chandler Jones, this dude earned every penny of his contract. I feel so sorry for him, especially since he just had a daughter. Congratulations, Max Crosby. This guy is such. I don't want his talent wasted. Like a lot of Raiders back in the day, man. A lot. Like remember Marcel Reese, Marcel Reese, the fullback for us. Such a great talent, and I wish. Wasted on bad, Raider football teams. This is another guy who's being wasted. Even with Nate Hobbs, even though he's out, his talents have been wasted from the beginning of the year. Things are just not coming together. I was hoping Jonathan Abrams would be. I think he's been quiet, for a guy who's just really hitting hard, booming. A lot of these guys, the defense just looks sluggish. The defense looks like they were getting popped in the mouth, and even though it was only 24 points that Saints scored, and it could have been much worse. The defense, gets gassed so much every game because the offense can't do anything, and that leads us to Derek Carr, man. We got to talk about Derek Carr. Now, Derek Carr, 10 years in the game? 8 years, I believe. Derek Carr is a vet. He's a vet. He's a veteran. His first playoff game last year. It's a shame. It's still a shame that he didn't get to go to the playoffs when we played against the Texans and we had Khalil Mack, because that would have been great experience for Carr. I've always said it to that day. He got injured. Fate has it. Derek Carr is a good guy. He's a good man. He's a good whatever the games have come to, whatever stats, whatever he's piling up. He is a good leader. The players really love Carr. The players love playing for Carr. I believe it was Amari Cooper who said his favorite teammate was Derek Carr. And, I could see that. But that doesn't matter. What matters is championships. What matters is finding the ways to win. And I'm not saying Derek Carr has not found ways to win. He's one of the best driving the team for a win. He did that last year when he when he helped beat the Chargers and sent them packing. I've always said, as a Raider fan, we had Terrell Pryor, we had Jamarcus Russell. When we had Carson Palmer, I was a little optimistic. I've always wanted a pocket passer. I guess you could say like a Herbert. I wanted a pocket passer. I wanted a Peyton Manning. I wanted an Aaron Rodgers. I wanted these guys to be throwing dimes to our wide receivers. Of course, we would have to go get a number one, and we did. We went and got Devante Adams, who was Carr's teammate in Fresno. We thought that was going to be, 1 and 2 kind of punch, a jab, and then a right hook. It is not worked out. It has not worked out. Devante, you just see the frustration that he's had. He was sick. He was sick all week. So coming in, they said he was going to play, but I don't know how much of how he was feeling factor it is. But I'll tell you the stats right now. I mean, I can tell you right now, he only has like 3 yards. He's in the bottom, guys. Where is he? I mean, Devante Adams, 1 reception for 3 yards. Look at Mac Hollins, 7 receptions for 64 yards. Mac has actually been good. Mac has actually been a pretty good player stepping up. Of course, he wants touchdowns and blah, 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 but no, he's been pretty good. Foster Moreau, 6 reception, 31 yards. Where's Hunter, man? Hunter, 1 reception for 6 yards. What happened to third and Renfrow, man? What happened to that? I was seeing him get first downs all last year, every single time. Now with Devante, he's just frustrated, man. I think he's starting. I believe he's starting to regret going from Green Bay to Vegas, because this has been this project, this dynamic between him and Carr is not the same. College is not the same when you go into the NFL. The NFL is so much different. It's harder to win games, and it is more team relevant because you need the defense to step up and you also need the offense. There is two sides of the ball. I just feel like that's why I always felt like with college is, yes, there's some high flying, great plays, high scoring stuff, but when you get to the NFL, it's a whole different beast. You have vets. You have seasoned vets that have played 12 seasons, 10 seasons. You have studs. You have bigger people. You have people that you think are going to be. Remember Reggie Bush? Now, Reggie Bush has carved out a great career, but he is not on the level of Latavius Thomason or LaDainian Tomlinson, or a Adrian Peterson in his prime. It just never happened, but he did a good job. But that doesn't necessarily mean, even though you balled out in college, doesn't mean you're going to ball out here. And just because Devante Adams had such a great connection with Carr in Fresno didn't mean it was going to happen here in Vegas. I even told many people before the season started, like, I'm absolutely excited for what can come. But I've seen super teams I've seen teams that have everything that they need on paper to win games and to make it to the Super Bowl and absolutely collapse. I mean, I've seen the Lakers do it. That's a different sport, but I've seen also, the Patriots do it. That's the best example when they had Randy Moss. So I knew that just because I liked the idea of Adams and Carr and how much they could produce, they have not been doing that. It's just so much different in the NFL level. It's been so much time since they've even been together. And a lot of times, yes, you need to get to know new coach, new system, blah, blah, blah. But it's already been how many weeks, man? They've gotten done with their bye. This should be so much more cleaned up with the penalties, so much cleaned up with the play calling, but it just has not. When you continue this going on, and you have coaches and Derek Carr saying we need to get better, practice needs to be better, it's already passed. The excuses are already gone. It's all about winning. If you can win for me, then you could talk about practice and all that stuff, but you're not winning. You're not putting up, you're not doing what you were paid to do. Now, do I think I think they're going to cut Carr. I think they're going to cut Carr at the end of the year because they could save a lot of money from him. He has a no trade clause in his contract, so he can't get traded. He won't be traded at the deadline. But what he can do is get cut at the end of the year. Now, Carr, like I said, he's a good guy, but this is too much, man. This is too much of us saying, well, it's not Carr's fault. It's the O-line's fault. It's not all on one man. You're absolutely right. It's not all on one man. It's not all on Carr, but it's on Carr for not having good pocket awareness. It's on Carr for not at least getting some yards than a sack when you could just roll out to the left or roll out to the right. I wanted pocket passers in this Raider organization, in this Raiders offense, because I love pocket passers. But we are in the new age where pocket passers is not really cutting it no more. Yes, you could still win, obviously, with Tom Brady. With a good offensive line, you could absolutely still win the Super Bowl. I believe Herbert is such a great quarterback, and I could see him going very far. I don't know if he's going to win the Super Bowl, but with a good offensive line, who knows? But You need a good offensive line. And the Raiders, as much as the line has been doing okay, they do not have a good offensive line. I would not categorize it as good whatsoever. It's a very very bad. It's a bad offensive line. It's especially when it comes to passing. Even though Carr did have moments where he had time, there's still other moments where he gets sacked and or the offensive line kind of blows it. But that's kind of why the QB runners, like running quarterbacks, are so essential. I mean, Michael Vick really changed the game too. QB running backs, that run are able to, even with a bad offensive line, are able to make something than nothing. And the problem with Carr is mobility and his pocket awareness is he's really doing nothing for us. He's really not. He was so good last year towards the end of the year, even though his numbers don't show it. But you saw him, especially against that last Charger game, really able to escape from a collapsing pocket, step up, throw it down, and throw dimes. The problem with Carr now is he'll do that sometimes, but he'll miss. He'll miss. He'll miss his receivers. He missed a downward play. I believe he missed a downward play to Keelan Cole, man. He just overshot him by a little bit. Dude, like, he's up there in age. He's been in the league. It's just not working. There's just too many chances we've given this guy. It's time to move on. You think Al Davis would have just kept Carr throughout longer? You think he'll keep him at the end of the year? No, if Al Davis was here, he would absolutely. He wants a stronger arm. He wants an arm, or he'll probably see a lot of. He probably would have saw a lot of these quarterbacks who are running and gaining yards, and he says he wants a Lamar Jackson. That's what the Raiders got to do. The problem with the Raiders is all these years they have never invested in a backup quarterback for Carr. They had Marcus last year, and shit, Marcus did better this has been doing better this year than Carr has, and it's absolutely crazy. We said that once Carr gets Devante Adams, there was no excuses anymore. Yes, the line is bad. Yes, Darren Waller hasn't been in the lineup. They don't really have a true kind of number two there. Or, well, Hunter Renfrow is supposed to be the guy. Mac Hollins has been good too. But, there's just no excuses for Carr anymore. And I think a lot of us who wanted Carr to succeed, wanted him to take us to the promised land, it's not going to happen, man. And we're damn sure not going to get there any faster if we keep Carr and we go with this extension. I think the Raiders are going to cut him at the end of the year. I think Josh McDaniels is going to be fired at the end of the year. Patrick Graham's going to be fired at the end of the year. There's a lot of cleanup, man. It sucks to say, but I think there's a rebuild just happening right now. This is a playoff team from last year who almost beat the Bengals, who just one play away from beating the Bengals. And how much would have that changed the outlook of stuff, right? I mean, if Carr gets that playoff win, we might even think about, keeping him on until, he retires or something because he wins a playoff game for us. But the way that Josh McDaniels and Mark Davis has just butchered the hell out of this team compared to last year, there's really no lady luck on our side this year. There's really no fire. There's really not nothing to tell me that the players are absolutely playing for Josh McDaniels, because they absolutely look like they're not. They don't look enthusiastic. They don't look happy. Devante does not look happy. Carr just seems to regress so bad this year, and I think he's done. I think he's gone, and I think, what do we do? Do we kind of tank the season to see if we get a good pick? But I don't know, man. It's a very awful day for sure. Very awful. Now, oh yeah. So obviously, I think the offense was a lot to blame in this one. I think the defense as well. I mean, everybody's to blame with this one. 0 points, 24 points allowed. Everybody's to blame. It just was bad overall. Denzel Perriman seems to be really getting beat. He's a good football player, but not too much of a good coverage. I mean, Chandler Jones, dude, where are you? What is this? One tackle? Really? The stats are telling me one tackle. Chandler Jones has been an absolute bust this year. Absolute bust. Dude, Jonathan Abrams did not have a good game today. I think DJ Turner actually went out of the game too. I don't know if he's injured or not, but he was doing kickoff returns, and then I think like the third kickoff return or the second, he was out. My God, just pathetic, man. Just pathetic. I mean, I know we're injured in all fronts too. We just signed Blake Martinez. He was out there as well. Trevon almost had a pick. He was so close to picking the ball off, and that would have been a momentum swing, but he did not get 2 feet in the ground on the ground. He he the turnovers. We have always been in these last in all these years. We have been such a terrible defense of creating turnovers. Man, the turnovers are just still not there. Man, just looking at these stats, it's just garbage, man. And then from the Saints side, Taysom Hill was just killing us too. I'm surprised they didn't use a lot of Taysom Hill. I think after they've realized that we lose to Dennis Allen, and Dennis Allen, of course, being our old coach, we lose to Dennis Allen. And when we lose to the remarks that Kamara said about us and said they were going to kick our ass, and that's absolutely what happened. Like, how do the Raiders allow that? I'm sure, Josh McDaniels tried to rally up the troops and say, this is what Kamara said. And he said he's going to kick our ass, blah, blah, blah. And they just took it. Raiders just, bent over and took that shit. Kamara was just a stud today, man. Nine receptions, 2 touchdowns. Just a stud. That was on the air. And then you got the ground, which is 18 carries, 62 yards, and a touchdown. So he had 3 touchdowns today. There's a lot of running backs this weekend who had like 3 touchdowns and were just absolutely insane. Here's another one too. Taysom Hill actually caught a pass. That's when I knew we were going downhill. When I saw Taysom Hill go out for a route and he caught a goddamn pass. So I was like, this is gonna be a long day. This is gonna be a long day. Taysom Hill was killing us. 10 carries, 61 yards, and he almost scored too. So Taysom Hill, or did he score? No, he didn't score. He almost did. Dude, this freaking guy, man. I mean, they know what he's gonna do when he's in Wildcat or getting in shotgun, whatever. They know he's gonna run, yet they still couldn't stop him. Obviously, they couldn't stop the run today. They couldn't stop anything. They look at Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton's numbers are 22 for 30, 229 with 2 TDs. 229 with 2 TDs. Now, no interceptions. That's the big one right there. No picks. Trayvon could have got that pick, just couldn't get those 2 feet inbounds. Oh, man. I mean, Chris Olave, I thought this dude was going to go off. He had 5 receptions, 52 yards. I mean, if you look at it, it's not that bad. Oh, yeah. I mean, Carr, this guy, 1 pick. And who got that? The Honey Badger got that, I believe. The Honey Badger, Matthew, got that pick. Carr, 101 yards, though. Man, 101. T101. That's not going to cut it. That's not going to do it. First quarter, 7-0 Saints. Second quarter, 10-0 Saints. Third quarter, 7-0 Saints. And then they didn't score in the fourth quarter. So we had Jarrett Stidham in there for the last drive. Stand near almost matched Carr's numbers with that one drive. See the answer? No, he's not. He's not the answer. I heard rumors that we might get Mac Jones on a trade. Do we really want Mac Jones after his performance this weekend and just overall how he's looking? Can we afford Lamar Jackson if he's available? Probably not. I mean, here's the thing. Raiders think that we'll be able to bring Josh Jacobs back. I don't even think Jacobs want to come. Honestly, I wouldn't think Jacobs would want to come back after declining the fifth year. The Raiders declined Josh Jacobs' fifth year, and he's balling out. I think he'd want to go somewhere else. And I don't think we could afford him anyway. There's too many needs on this team to pay Josh Jacobs probably what he's going to ask for. He deserves good money after this season. He deserves it. If he stays healthy, of course. Oh, man. So rumors, I mean, trade deadline, we traded, was it Pickles or Nichols or whatever, or DT, I believe. What what is there to go get? Why would we go get anybody at this point? Because I'll be honest with you, the Raiders don't have a chance of making the playoffs. They're not. The team is built. The team just looks like they're not ready at all. They don't deserve to go to the playoffs with the play they've been playing. They're just making too many mistakes, man. They're making too many mistakes. It's too inconsistent. This team doesn't look like they, as much as they could have beat the Kansas City. I think they really. This is different, man. Last year, we fought hard and we won a lot of these close games. Now we're losing a lot of these close games, especially in the beginning. This doesn't look like the same team like last year where they're able to win these close games anymore. They're really failing to finish games. That's what they are. But now they're just really looking terrible and where they can't even start a game. This team's not going to make the playoffs. There's too many good teams out there in our division, and not the Broncos, but I would say of course, Kansas City Chargers in our division are still up there, even though the Chargers are looking wobbly as well. Broncos, I have no faith in the Broncos doing anything. I just hope we have a better record than the Broncos. The Bills just played tonight. Bills are looking absolutely like a monster. Tennessee with Derrick Henry is still good. Ravens, as long as they got Lamar Jackson and they got Mark Andrews over there, and their defense is not too bad, but the Raiders just don't look good, man. They don't look like they're ready for anything. This was it. This was a win. This had to be a win. Of course, next week when we play Jacksonville, if we lose to the Jacksonville Jaguars, that's it. It's officially over. And it's just like realistically, no. Like right now, they could still make the playoffs. They have to go on a run. But as if you're a true Raider fan and you're looking at this team and you're looking at all the past teams that we had, of course the glory day was 02, 03, even prior to that when we had Gannon, Crockett, Porter. Those were the glory days, right? But then we also had a couple playoff teams too, with Carr being in there. But you look at last year, especially, that team was just special. That team was a little bit different because of everything that was going on, and them able to fight back, and it was just different. This team has been. This team is. It's nothing, man. It's bland. It's there's no taste to it. It's regular. It's not good. It's not good stuff. It's not good food. It's a bad team, guys. It's a very bad team. Even though they shouldn't be a bad team, there's so much talent on here. But if you really think they're going to go to the playoffs, just look at this team and compare it to a lot of these Raider teams that we had in the past. What is different? What is there different to make you say they can make that run and they can do what they need to do to make the playoffs? Because they're still committing penalties. They're still making very stupid decisions. The red zone is still horrific. Carr is inconsistent. The line is very bad. The defense is still bad. The coverage, the allowing big plays in a downfield is still there. What has changed with the Raiders? This year was supposed to be different. This year was supposed to be the Rebel Raider defense, the glory days of the 70s, the shut you down, the hit you, knock you around, and you ain't going to want to get up. Of course, you can't do that as much today because flag, 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 and that's exactly what the Raiders continue to do is get penalties. But the difference was supposed to be the offense. If the defense was not very good, the offense was supposed to pick up the slack. But it's starting to be the other way around where the offense is doing nothing and the defense has to try to survive. This Raider team is not going to the playoffs. This Raider team's I don't, as much as I hate thinking it, and as much as I want one more year with maybe Carr and Devante, not with McDaniels, but just one more year with this team, at the end of this year, I don't see that happening. You can't keep Carr. You have to cut him. You have to cut him at the end of the year to save all that money that you could do. You have to cut Carr, but then that leaves you with Devante, who came over just to play with Carr. And I'm assuming he's going to want to request a trade. Devante's not going to want to be there if Carr's not there. So you can't, if you play Carr, if you continue Carr's, with his contract, you're eating all that money away, and you don't even know if next season is going to be a good season because you've seen the product now. And if you put another coach in next season, it's another system. It's another learning stuff. It's another, feeling each other out. Whoever Carr gets, if we bring Carr back, there's just too much. There's just too much that this was the season. This was kind of like do it now or do nothing. And we're not doing anything. So that means you're going to get kind of a rebuild. You're going to get kind of rebuild. You're not going to have, I don't think you're going to have Josh Jacobs back next year. And I just don't see how Josh McDaniels lasts till next year. Especially with him going back, talking to Mark Davis, who Mark Davis wanted a meeting with him. I'm sure Mark is saying, you have your job for towards the end of the year, but if this continues, I'm going to fire you early. But this is it. This is the only year you're getting. I don't know, man. I don't know. You have free agent wise. You signed Hunter Renfrow. You got young guys. I think Nate Hobbs is still on his rookie contract. You got some guys. You got some key elements here, but the defense is still bad. You're gonna fire a defensive coordinator. You have to, right? You have to. But then that brings in another defensive coordinator, and nothing has helped this defense at all. Amik Robertson, not living it up, man. Chandler Jones, how many years do we have this guy? This guy has been nothing. Trayvon, doing okay. We signed Rock Ya-Sin. He's probably a good highlight. That's a good player to have. Denzel Perriman, hard hitter, good. We need more cover linebackers. We need linebackers that can cover. Divine Diablo was supposed to be that guy, and I like him a lot. 9 tackles today, but he gets beat too, quite a bit. Abrams is gone. Abrams never amounted to the Charles Woodson 24. Farrell, don't even get me started on Farrell. That's it, man. This is a team that should have made its moves to fix a lot of the things that they needed prior to the season because you could work it out throughout the season. But now that we are here and the trade deadline's here, nothing they could do is going to make them that much better. They should rely on a lot of the drafts they got. They could trade somebody for more draft picks, but they really blew the chance of signing a lot of good free agents out there. This team is done. This team's not going to the playoffs. This team will probably start a little mini rebuild at the end of the year. Do not be surprised if Josh Jacobs is gone. Do not be surprised if Devante Adams is gone because Derek Carr will be cut. Do not be surprised. The only surprise we can get is a good surprise. And if the Raiders can actually beat the Jacksonville Jaguars and go on a stretch and go on a run and at least salvage the season with a 500 record. Hell, maybe a 500 record might get us in. Who knows? But I don't think so. I don't think we're going to the playoffs. I think ETN, seeing what he did, and now that he's going to be the workhorse over there at Jacksonville, and I think they're going to make. I think he's going to kill the Raiders defense. I think he's just too much of a monster, and we're not very good at stopping the run apparently. And I think Trevor Lawrence, they're going to make him look like a stud. He's probably going to throw 2 TDs to Christian Kirk or something, or their tight end, because we suck at covering tight ends too. Ask Kelsey. Yeah, this is a dark day. This is an absolute. This is absolutely disappointing, man. I don't even feel like watching the next game because it's a mess. It's a mess. There's just things that just need to be fixed, man. This is hard. This is crazy, man. This is this was supposed to be the year. This was supposed to be the year where everything clicks. But I think the one decision Mark Davis did was hire Josh McDaniels, and I think that just ruined everything. I think he absolutely killed this team, and I think you're not going to see this team ever again. I think at the end of this year, that's it. This was it. This was the year we had to put it together. At least go to the playoffs, but this is it. That's it, man. Thank you guys for listening to me. Just wanted to get my feelings out on this Raider game. It was just horrible, man. If you're a Raider fan, this is definitely goes up there. I mean, I know they got smacked one time, 52-0, and they absolutely got smacked by KC last year. But this team and what it is and who we got and just the way they played and just how bad they played today and how bad they've been playing this all season. It's frustrating. It's really deflating or defeating. This is not how this is not how much I was looking forward to football, and then to see it like this and my team just absolutely garbage. I'm sick of it. I'm still a Raider fan because I'm pretty much used to it. I'm used to it, but I'm sick of it. I want to be in the generation. I want to live to see the Raiders be back to that famous saying, just win, baby. To be back to the golden age of the Raiders. I was there when they were at their peak. And then it just all went downhill. It all went downhill with Rich Gannon's injury, and it all went downhill after the Super Bowl. And we have never recovered, and we still are not recovered. And it's crazy because we put up everything. We put all this money, got these players, and yet we can't do anything. I miss Jack Del Rio. I miss Raider Nation, man. This doesn't feel like Raider Nation. This doesn't feel like an Oakland Raider team. And I still think Vegas, is cool, stadium and stuff. But, man, does this not feel like a Raider team, man? This doesn't feel like an underdog who was able to get to the playoffs last year Raider team. This feels like it's just a mess. And there's nothing to do. We can't fix it. This is too late to fix it. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see next, guys. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video. Probably have another Raider video coming up. I didn't want to make one for the Texans because it still was really, we barely beat the Texans and we're happy. I'm not happy. I'm not happy about that performance. And sure enough, I was right, because what happens? We lay an egg on this performance and just shows us that we can't be, we just can't take that next step. We can't be one of those high-powered offense or defense teams. We can't be the Bills. We can't beat them. We can't beat them. We can't have a Josh Allen. We can't have Patrick Mahomes. we're relying on Derek Carr, who's just a very average quarterback at this point. So thank you guys. I'm Danny Man. Get down, son. Till we talk more Raiders. I'm out here. Bye-bye.